Good afternoon, Jeff. Can you please introduce yourself a bit and talk about what Mimecast is doing at this year's edition of GITEX?
Of course. It's a pleasure to talk to you. So my name is Jeff Ogden. I'm the General Manager for the Middle East region for Mimecast, covering about 15 or 20 countries here across the Middle East. I'm selling the Mimecast solution, cloud mail security. Certainly in the UAE, the mid-market sector is huge. There's a lot of startups. They always encourage startup companies across the Middle East. So we have tens, if not hundreds of thousands of mid-market customers in the region. When those companies start up, they struggle to build IT departments, and they certainly struggle to build skills to deal with some of the complex threats that they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So we see that as a big opportunity from Mimecast to help those customers using cloud solutions to provide them the skills, the resources, and the services to deal with those threats that they're seeing. Email's the biggest application. It's the biggest application everybody uses. When you start a company in mid-market, use email to start off with. Communicate with your customers, your applications communicate with customers using email. All the threats are still coming through email. So 91, 92% of the threats that organizations suffer come from emails that are sent to end users within your organization. They press on malicious links, they open malicious attachments, and those are the things that are impacting the businesses. When these threats come through, there's a small percentage of the end users that really understand what these threats are. Lots of people will look at particularly interesting subjects that may come through in email, and they'll press on links to try and find out more information. We have to educate users so that when these things come through, the end user can determine the difference between a good email and a threat. So we have an extensive security awareness program which we embed into our products, and that educates the users, business as usual, whilst they're using email on a day-to-day basis, teaches them what's a good threat, what's a bad threat. In the mid-market, I think what the mid-market really want to try and avoid is buying many, many solutions. They really want to reduce cost complexity within their environment. So what we've done at Mimecast is we have a platform that is multifaceted. So it deals with your email threat, it saves and stores your data, gives you a backup, gives you the ability to recover from an incident, educates your users, and then if you want to add things like encryption or large file management or the user awareness training, all of these come embedded in the platform. So for a mid-market customer, they can select our product. It significantly reduces their risk and gives them one platform that can do 20 things for them and fix 20 business problems for them. Most customers start with an email security solution. That's their biggest problem. So they take what we call our S1 platform. That S1 deals with things like malicious attachments, malicious URLs, and targeted attacks of some sort. So that's the S1 platform. But then they can upgrade that to have archiving. So certainly for mid-market customers like small firms of solicitors, lawyers, legal firms, they need to retain all of that data that comes through email for an extended period of time. So they can add an archiving solution that allows us to store that for 100 years, and they can come back and use that data in any legal cases in the future. So they can switch all of those solutions on piecemeal as they go through the relationship with us. We've seen a huge uptake in the mid-market for Mimecast. We've seen hundreds of customers come online in the last 12 months, and they come from multiple sectors. So for example, the shipping industry currently, we have the 5th biggest port in the world is here in the UAE with Jebel Ali and Khalifa Port online. So lots of shipping companies and logistics companies have come online in Jebel Ali. Those companies don't have IT departments and can't defend these security issues. So those sorts of companies are coming to us. Legal firms are coming to us. Construction companies, as we move towards 2020 in the region, a lot of construction taking place, a lot of hospitality. So all of those organizations are coming online in the mid-market. Those are customers for us that are anywhere between 25 users to 500 users. So we're seeing significant growth in that area with Mimecast. We measure quarter to quarter how the threats are growing. So impersonation attacks, that's where somebody tries to impersonate a CEO and get the CEO to approve an invoice payment or something like that. They've doubled quarter on quarter. So, I mean, that in itself is significant. In the olden days, we used to measure year to year. We're having to measure week to week, month to month, quarter to quarter now, because the threat is growing so significantly. Mid-market, you know, those are the areas that are getting targeted because that's the low-hanging fruit for the attackers. The mid-market business is, in terms of volume, is 80% of the business that we close. In revenue, it's slightly different, of course, because the revenue's higher in the enterprise. But in mid-market, 80% of the customers. I don't know how true the statistic is, but it was recently announced that there's 250,000 mid-market companies have registered to pay VAT here in the UAE. So that gives you the orders of magnitude that the business will grow to for Mimecast over the next 12 months, 24 months.